So these leaves are now dry enough to work back into, and you can see how the colours have blended beautifully as they've dried. So what I'm now going to do is, in order to get the veins on them, I'm going to build up another layer over the top and leave where the veins would be showing through. So if I show you what I mean, so I'm going in with the brown, slightly drier than last time, and I'm going to, if you like, come up, just drawing the veins, and then so I'm sort of creating a negative vein, if you like, by leaving gaps showing through from underneath. And this, where the red has merged into the brown, is rather lovely on this oak leaf now. And then working up the other side. So this would probably come up more like that because I've got my Actually, I've just realised that I don't actually know where the veins go on an oak leaf. I probably should have checked that out first. I might just leave this side a bit looser, so just go all the way up there. And in fact, what I can do, once I've done this, is I can actually, with a dry brush, and just take a little bit out. So that's two different ways of doing it. So it was either leaving it, or while it's still wet, using a dry brush just to draw out some veins. So that's one method of doing it, and in fact I'm going to do, I think, the same again probably on this other one. And it could be that I decide that I'd like to just draw it in loosely with a pencil before I start, but I think actually what I'm going to do here, no, let's do it on this green one, is just to go straight in again. So I'm going to build up on this green one here, and I'm going to just so I'm literally drawing in to show where I want my veins to be. I'm just mixing a bit of the green and the yellow so it covers over that. As I say, if you feel happier drawing these in, draw them in with a watercolour pencil so that you're not left with pencil marks, which can be quite difficult to get out from under the paint. So I'm just varying the colours a bit from yellower to greener as I go. And what I probably would want is for those veins not to maybe go right to the end. So this is just the cadmium yellow with the sap green. So I'm working fairly dry here because I don't want the colour to run too far. So unlike the very, very wet that I did the first time round. And it might be that I decide that I'd like to add another colour into this one as well as I go up. So it's a much more natural way to create the veins than drawing them in. I'll show you what it looks like in a minute drawing them in afterwards, but this would probably be my preferred method. And I might just, I think, add in a little bit of a sort of reddy brown to some of this side, just to bring a bit more of that autumn colour in. So as the vein gets nearer the edge of the leaf, it's obviously going to be narrower. doing that quite sort of roughly as I go. So I'm just merging the colours in here, so I've got a bit of red, a bit of green. So not really sort of not being too precious about it, but that's quite nice, just that blending as it goes up, and then as I come down the bottom, probably going back into more of a green. So sometimes it's nice to actually have the leaf in front of you. Sometimes it's nice just to not worry too much and take it as it comes. Because as I say, we're not trying to do botanical illustrations here, we're just having a bit of fun with some autumn colour. So that gives a very delicate structure of the veins underneath. If I wanted to draw them in afterwards, I'd do that using a much thinner brush. So I've got a rigger brush here, and I could go in with some of this brown. And really sort of just take my lines. Probably not doing every single one because it can start looking a little bit heavy. I love how the colours have blended on this leaf from being very, very wet when I first put them down. So that's putting it on over the top. Well, if it's something my stem's going to be a bit darker there as well now. And this is putting another coat on and leaving the underneath layer showing through for the veins. So two different approaches.